Check now. Check. Good morning. Can you guys hear me? Just let me know if you can hear me, so I'll share the link. Other members will join up. All right. So just give me some few minutes. Let me share the link. Let me share the link so other members will join up. Just drop it. So let me share the link so other members will join up. So just a minute, guys. Let me share out the link. All right. So I believe you guys can see my screen. Just reply in the chat box, and always, once you are joining, always like the live so YouTube can recommend it to other traders. Right? All right. Now let's first check out BTC, like I always do. Now on BTC, what am I expecting? First, BTC has been buying, right? And there's gonna be a level where it will likely reverse from, where it will likely sell from, right? And if you watch closely, it's not that they're not interested in buying BTC. Previously, BTC has been bearish, but on getting to this very major demand zone, right, major buy zone, you can notice it's not that they're not interested in taking buys on BTC, but they started pushing the price up. So we're meant to keep looking out for buys so it can get to another level, right? And the next level we can expect the price to get to before it will sell. It's gonna be maybe this high right here, right? This is the high we can now expect the price to get to. So pretty much we can start looking out for buys as it's going up, right? So remember, since on Monday we'll be looking out for buys on BTC, and that's what I'm gonna still be doing. Gonna still be looking out for buys as it's going up, knowing that that's the level it can likely get to, right? So now we have multiple POI, multiple point of interest. We have this very one. It's a valid POI, this low acting as liquidity protecting it. Then we also have this breaker block right here. This low acting as liquidity protecting it. Then recently just created this very order block right here. Right, pretty much have this other order block right here. So we're still gonna expect buys, buys, buys. So this breaker block has not been mitigated. It's still very much valid, but this is a new POI and it's closer to the price. So we can look out for buy from this very POI. And these other lows, this other low right here, they can act as liquidity. You see these lows right here, they can act as liquidity protecting the POI. So we can keep looking out for buys on this market. Right, we can keep looking out for buys on this very market. So this is a nice POI we can look out for buy from. So before I continue, if you watch throughout this week, I've traded live with you guys. Right, I've done since on Monday we'll be doing live, right? And if you watch all of the trade we took this week, right, the worst trade was we had break even, right? We had multiple break even, We had trade giving us 1:3, 1:2 without me taking profit. I know many of you took profit, right? But I did not take profit personally. So if you watch, I traded live with you guys. So this is how I go about it. And if you watch, if you trade only my signals, you were taking profit at 1:3 on the trades, right? You're gonna see you ended this week in profit. And I see many of you guys messaging me, telling me that, right? So that's how I go about it every single time, right? And that's I'm being transparent. I show you the wins, show you the losses. I don't just show you only my wins, only my wins. I show you when I lose, show you if it goes against us. And most times we're deleting some limit order because it's also a way, it's also something I've studied and I've known about the price. And sometimes I'll see that this level might not hold, right? So I'll likely tell you guys, so we delete the limit order. So that's just how I go about it. Before the end of the live, I'm gonna give an announcement, right? So I'm gonna advise you to stay to the end. I'm gonna give an announcement of how we're gonna go about it next. So this is valid POI. We can watch out for buy from. That's all the criteria: BOS, liquidity. Over, if we can keep holding this very trade, we can target this extreme high as our take profit, giving us up to 1:7. Good risk to reward ratio. But let's just target this nearest high as our take profit. And remember, we target at least 1:4. So this is what I'm having on BTC. Should we type this out or we should wait once it's at that very point? Yesterday, because of the news, we deleted multiple limit orders, of which those, if you watch um some of those limit order closely, some hit stop loss. I told you guys to delete them. Some hit stop loss and some went well, right? Because I don't trade the news. If I trade the news, I might just tell you hold or let's see how we're gonna manage it. But because I don't trade the news, so some went well, like the USD GBPJPY, that one went well, right? So pretty much is the strategy. USDJPY, that was the only one that didn't go well, right? So this is a buy we're having on BTC. It's giving us about 69 pips. So you should know how to manage your risk with what I taught under risk management. Right, there are previous video on this very channel. You can go through them. I've taught about risk management, which is gonna help you manage your risk and also know what and how to know what you are risking. So let me type out everything and drop in a group. So this is what I'm watching out for on BTC. I'm still waiting for this. If it comes back here, we'll look out for our buy. With a well-managed risk, you already know my risk storage is always okay. And if you watch closely throughout this week now, you'll be making profit. With only my signal, if you keep taking trade with yourself, you might take some losses. But with only my signal, you're gonna see. This week we have not taken any stop loss. Right? That break even on the trades. Right? We've not taken any losses. And you can go over, check it out. I'm gonna even drop a recap of what we did. But for now, let me drop this BTC. As you already know, we've not taken any losses. Does not mean you should now go all in on this very trade. Same way you've been managing your risk, still manage your risk, and then you take it. So on gold, I'm still gonna. The gold direction is not clear. I'm gonna, with what I'm seeing, I checked the gold chart this morning. The direction was not clear. Remember, we still expect buy. I told you guys why we were waiting for change of character, which it didn't give us any change of character before buying, was because gold direction is now likely bearish. Right? There's a chance that it can um just broke out of this very zone. So that was why I was now waiting for a change of character. But it didn't give that, but it started buying from the zone. Now I can still expect buy. Gold can just decide to keep buying and then take out this extreme high. It can happen, but it can just get to some level and start dropping. So I want to watch out for break of structures. I want to watch out for where the price is currently breaking structure to. With that, I will be able to know what I'm expecting. So the break of structure happening now is this high. BOS to the upside. And if you watch, price at this order block, that's where it's currently respecting. Right, I marked at this very area to see if it's a nice sell zone. So this way it's currently respecting. There's a chance that it's gonna keep um breaking structure, but no clear setup for now. Let's watch out for multiple break of structure before we know what we'll be doing. Right, let's look out for multiple break of structure to the upside before we know what we'll be doing on gold. Right, but for now I'm just patiently waiting for gold. Direction was bearish. Now it's turned bullish. We don't know if it's gonna continue being bullish or it's gonna still drop. So I've done analysis on BTC. I've given you guys what I'm expecting on BTC. We have our POI, I guess, around here. Right, why is this POI a good zone to take? Right, this is a breaker, and this low can act as liquidity. Then this is where I started buying from. Let me see if I save the setup. All right, I'm just trying to find if I saved the setup on my. Okay, I didn't save the setup, but I took it on my account. Right, it was a personal trade. I didn't drop it because I didn't trust if the breaker block is gonna hold. If you notice, I marked out this very lower one as a possible buy zone. Now, why am I looking out for buys on this GBP on this Euro USD? Because this market is likely now bullish. Remember, this was a zone the price got to, and we were expecting sell. Same thing on GBPUSD, we were not expecting it to keep selling. Maybe sell to at least this key level or this other key level, right? Either of this key level, but it didn't get to any of them. It just started continuing the buy. So there's a chance that this buy will continue to take out the high, take out this high it's respected previously, and also even take out this extreme high as the liquidity. Right. So I'm gonna keep looking, I'm gonna start looking out for buys on this market. And the buy zone that was present this morning was from this breaker block. It has already respected it. So the next buy zone is gonna be the price break structure now. Then it already had this POR right here. Once it creates liquidity, this is another buy zone for this market. But if it failed to break structure and create liquidity, then this is a breaker block which is lower where we can consider buying from. But for now, this one is not so clear. Break of structure now, there are breaks to the upside, right? So if it creates liquidity, this is a buy zone. But if it doesn't, then we'll watch out for this very zone. This very zone also have its own liquidity already. That is low, which can likely act as liquidity, right? But for now, it's not so clear. That's why I didn't drop it. Because the direction is, if you notice, break to the downside, break to the upside. Same thing on gold. I want to know what the price is actually doing, so I will know what I will be doing in the market. Right, GBPUSD similar thing. This was a sell we took, which we're expecting sell. We're expecting price to sell to at least get here, take out this low before it will continue the buy. But it just sort of gave us about 1:2, almost 1:3 though. It reversed against us. Right, if you watch, this way it got to again, started selling. It broke structure to the upside. Right, that is BS to the upside. Then tap on this very level. Automatically, this BOS now is like a liquidity to this other block. Then, if we're gonna know direction of this market, I need to first come down to take out this very low. We need to come down to break structure to the downside because it took out this very high as a liquidity protecting this POI. Need to now drop to take out this low as a break of structure, so we can start looking out for sell. But if it doesn't do that, meaning this is a break of structure, and what do we expect? Price to maybe get, you can notice already buying, maybe go up to break this high, break of structure, then we'll keep looking out for buys. So you can see direction is not clear. I don't always just jump on random trades. Now my view is gonna be buy. Why? Because there's a chance that you just disregard the zone, right? But for now, no clear opportunity to buy from. If it's gonna sell, it's gonna break this low as a break of structure. But this is also a POI we can buy from, but no liquidity protecting it. So we just wait and see what will happen. Then on USDJPY, I guess everyone is on this sell. I already dropped the signal. Now, many of you are going to ask, why are you selling USDJPY? Now, this is what it is. If you notice all of this happening, I did this with my student yesterday. I did the analysis with my student yesterday in the live class, the September class. Now, let me show you. Our general group, you can always ask for buy on USDJPY, but I told you, now he said he did the analysis again, correction. Now, this was the setup I had yesterday during the live class. This was the initial. On getting there, it sold off, retraced back, then this was not like a re-entry, right? That was a sell we are now currently on. Now, how did I do this analysis and why am I expecting sell? Right, if you watch what I told them yesterday, live analysis, why am I expecting sell? If you watch, break or short to the downside, break or short to the downside, break or short to the downside, there is a chance that this is another low, which the price will likely still break as a break or short to the downside, right? And if you watch, price had this on POI, which is like an order, which is this very order block. This high now acted as liquidity. That was where the price tapped on and it started dropping. On dropping, it had this low, of which it broke as a break or short to the downside. So what's now happened? Immediately break that low as a break or short to the downside. Now what happened? It retraced back, right? And if it retraces back, now what am I expecting? More sales. Why? Because the break or short to the upside now is not valid. This is a high. The price broke structure. It's not a valid break or short to the upside. Right? Why is it not valid? Because the price is actually bearish. This break of structure is a break of structure, but the market is bearish. All of the break of structure happening now, they are more to the downside, right? So that was how I was not looking out for sell on this very market. And how did I get this my POI to take the trade from? If you watch on a 4-hour time frame, we have this POI to be a long wick rejection. You can see that long wick right there. We have this POI to be a long wick rejection. So that was where I was now watching how to sell from. Since a long wick rejection, the possible sell zone on the 2-hour time frame is also right there. Then it's a nice POI. Then what do I need? Just my liquidity. So I'm going down to a lower time frame. I saw I have this high, these multiple highs right here, which can act as liquidity, right? So since I have the liquidity present, I took my sell from the POI. And like I said, this was the initial setup we have during the live. Break of structure, liquidity, then POI right there, take my sell. I'm expecting the price to keep selling, but anything can happen within the market. That's why it's important to manage your risk. You can decide to just shoot up, buy wherever, right? But this is my bias on USDJPY. And I believe everyone is already on the trade. The trade was dropped on the Telegram and also for my students. Right? So like I said, if you are just joining, always like the live, right? Always like it. So YouTube can recommend it to other members. Man, this USDJPY keep dropping. I guess we're already up 1:1. Only those that had their late entry, those are the ones that will not be up 1:1. I guess I'm already up 1:1 on my account. Yeah, I'm already up 1:1. So only those that had late entry, and that's the reason I always love limit order, because with that you won't be having late entry. So let's check out what we're having on GBPJPY. On GBP, this PO I was waiting for to buy around here. This long wick as an order block. This very POI now had all of this low as liquidity. But the only thing now is that it didn't break structure. This is the nearest high which the price needed to break above, but it didn't break it. So that's why I'm disregarding this very POI, and I don't have any setup on GBPJPY. If I'm gonna buy, I want to first see break that structure, then I'll buy from here. We've taken multiple buys this week. Right, the first buy we had on this GBPJPY was from here. Remember, this was, I guess, on Tuesday. I dropped the signal. Let's buy GBPJPY now, and we took profit at 1:3. Stop loss was somewhere around here. We took profit at 1:3 risk to reward ratio. Then we had a re-entry. This re-entry, remember, we I was I was now anticipating that as missed entry. This was a re-entry from this very order block. I was anticipating it as missed entry. Then this low acted as liquidity, which I said delete order, but the price still came back to where I expected to get to. And if you watch, kept buying. It gave 1:4 that very day. Believe many of you remember this very setup. We did this live analysis, right? Live. Most of these analyses were done live. You can check the Telegram. I dropped everything right there. Now, this one I said delete order because I was thinking the price already missed entry. Then yesterday before the news, we also did another live, and when I marked out somewhere here as my POI, you guys can still remember. The setup is also on the Telegram. I'm gonna give you guys what to do now. Give you guys some things before I end the live. We're gonna check out other markets though. Now, everything was also present right here. It has that break of structure, which is extremely important. Now, if you notice one key thing with what I'm doing right here is I know directional bias. I'm looking out for buys, and that buy is always favoring my setup. But if I look out for sell, maybe selling from here, if I sell from here, then using this low as my break of structure, using this as my liquidity, I'll get stopped out. Why? Because directional bias is bullish. I'm meant to keep looking out for buys, right? And this was where we now waited for buy yesterday before the news. And if you were, that was where it just activated and it started moving. Stop loss was like this. Then our target was 1:4. But because of the news, I don't trade the news. I don't always like it. I decided to delete the limit order. But it still came back, activated it, and it respected it because it's a strategy. And if you want, this is now a POI I'm not expecting buy to happen from. But first, this POI has not broke structure, which is now what I'm sitting and waiting for. Once it breaks structure, then once it retraces back, I'll take my buy from here. Target my 1:4. I'm gonna keep looking out for buys till the price get to the next key level I expect it to get to, which can be this extreme high right here. So just like that, I'm gonna keep looking out for buys. So that's what I'm expecting on GBPJPY. For it to break structure, then retrace, and I'll buy from this other block. Right? So let's see other markets. Let's see what we are seeing. US 30, I guess that's the next pair we trade. Around US 30, I'm still gonna expect buys. Why? Because take notice of this. This was the trade we took. This was the entry we took, right, from this very area, which gave us 1:3. Notice it. It gave us 1:3. But me personally, I did not take any profit. I guess this happened on Wednesday. I did not take any profit. I know many of you took profit. Some of you sent me your profit, right? But me, I didn't take any profit. I was expecting my 1:4. And there was even news that very day. That was why I just spike up 1:3, then dropped to break even. Right? If you watch, this was now a POI. I didn't see it early. I saw it late. This was not the POI I was meant to now buy from. Right? I was meant to buy from this very POI right here, using this low as my liquidity. But I saw it late. It just came tapped on it and then started buying. So I'm gonna still expect buy. Why? Because the break of shows that are happening now, there are more of breaks to the upside. Right? So the buy level it can be from this breaker. And this breaker now has no clear liquidity yet. So I'm gonna advise watch out for liquidity first. Maybe once the price comes close, goes up, then that low can add as liquidity, then I buy from here. Right, I buy from here. Let's see how this is gonna go. But let's see how this level is gonna go. So if you notice, Friday now it didn't give much setup. On other days, if you notice, we're having our entry, everything. But this one now it didn't no clear liquidity or no break of structure. So you have to relax and then wait for the price to create it for you. Right? If you start jumping on trades just like that, you're gonna likely keep getting stopped out. Right? So let's keep our BTC limit order and this sell on USDJPY. Right? Let's see how they are gonna go. Then for those that will be joining my mentorship class, October registration is on. I'm gonna drop. If you notice, I've not been dropping the link on my YouTube video because the registration were not on. Right? The October registration is now on. Right? You can click on the link in the description to join the mentorship class. where I will teach you everything how I go about it. Then next week, let's see if I'm still active next week. If I'm still available next week, I'll see if I'll be able to do live with you guys again. Right, this week was pretty